Hey guys, welcome back. Today's video is going to be a little informative, so I'm just going to go through some info about some faux furs. So stay tuned. So this particular piece is one of the longer faux furs that you can get. It's got about a 10 centimeter pile length. Now the pile is the actual fur bit that is not including the backing, and obviously the fabric on the back is called the backing. So I've just shown you how I normally cut this fur, and as you can see, I've only managed to cut the backing, but I'll go into detail about that a little bit later. Now this longer piled faux fur comes in a variety of different colours, and you can find it with tips and a darker underbelly, but yeah, a variety of different colours, which is great. So the next faux fur I'm going to show you is called Mongolian faux fur, and it has like this clumpy look to it, and I actually really like this fur because you can achieve a lot of detail with it. And I know a lot of ball jointed doll collectors make faux fur wigs out of this particular fur, so it's really versatile and it has a little bit of stretch to it, so it's really great to work with. It also comes in a whole range of colours. It can come from just solid colours or frosted tips or even two-toned colours. If you're in Australia, this one's a bit hard to find, so there's really limited range here. It's really in the US that you can find a whole lot of different colours, which is kind of a shame, but it is what it is. Right, so I'll quickly go through how I cut them normally. So as you can see, it's a bit of a slow process, but you can see I'm feeding the scissors in between the fur pile and the actual backing. So I'm only just cutting the backing and not the actual pile. I prefer to do this with scissors as I have better control, and it's a bit neater when you cut the backing rather than using a blade, which is a bit out of control, and it cuts the backing a bit messy, and I just don't really like it. And I'll just quickly show you the difference between cutting just the backing and doing a straight cut. As you can see, one side the pile is cut and it's kind of useless now, and the other side is not. So here's just another example of a different colour of that Mongolian faux fur, and it's a nice cream colour, and I find that a lot of these furs are a little bit different than one another, so this one's a bit more silky and the other one's a bit more strawy. So here's another example of a faux fur. This is quite a short one, and as you can see, it's pretty silky. I do find this quite hard to work with just because you have less control over the pile of the fur, and it sort of falls apart once you remove the backing from it. And it comes in a range of colours. You can find short furs anywhere, but I prefer working with longer faux fur rather than a shorter one. Now I'll just go through a fur that I've found is really thick. This is also quite hard to work with just because when you run it through the sewing machine, it doesn't really like such a thick piece of material rather than a thinner one. And you can see the under fur is quite thick as well as the tips of the fur are quite thick. So I mean, it gives it a great texture, but again, it's really hard to work with. I prefer a medium thickness fur rather than too thick or too thin. The medium thickness is just so much better and so much easier to work with. Right, so I'm just going to quickly show you a cheaper faux fur, and you can really tell that it is a cheap one. I mean, the quality isn't that great, and the backing is sort of kind of gluey or something. So I don't really like working with this stuff just because it's a lesser quality, and I just don't want that part of my work. But I mean, it's great for if you're doing something that resembles like scales or something like that, but you don't want to use sequined fabric or anything. So this is really great alternative, but it is a cheaper fur and it is quite difficult to work with as well. But I mean, on the upside, it comes in a variety of different colours and you can get it pretty much anywhere. And also, if you're on a budget, I mean, it does the job. So even if you're learning, it'll do the job. And I'll just quickly show you a fabric that I like to work with, and it's one of my favourites. So it was a leftover from this red fabric that I used for a previous doll called a moon fox. And you know, I really liked the fabric. It's got a great texture, it's got a great length of the pile, it's not too thick, not too thin, and I just really like this sort of fur. It's great quality. It's not the cheapest, but again, you know, it's really what you want to do. Alright guys, that's it from me today. I hope you learned a little thing or two. Any questions, leave it in the comments. Also, any requests, leave it in the comments as well. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!